today. I really had a wonderful time.
I learned a lot of things about how to achieve generational wealth.
Wealth creation.
Ability to see. You should always see opportunities in chaos.
One of the quotes that stood out from Pius is that rest is a true indicator of achieving success in life.
Hey, that one caught me by surprise.
I'm going to repeat this. God models the concept of work as a process of creation and nurturing. According to this model, work involves bringing entities into existence and instilling in them the ability to sustain themselves, allowing the Creator to rest and enjoy the fruits of his labor. So, God created the trees once, isn't it? The tree grows, the seeds fall, the seeds die, and they sprout into new trees. Isn't it? He created male and female animals so that they do what? They reproduce. So, he started by creating light, isn't it? He finished by creating human. Was that random? It was not. So, creation has something that is unique. Anything we create must be, or must also be, self-sustaining. So, allow me to just mention these 3 remarkable attributes of God's creation. Why is it? What made it possible? What makes God kind of work end with rest? Number 1 is order. God created everything with intentionality and precision. From the formation of the light on the first day to the creation of humanity on the 6th day. Each step built upon the previous one, showcasing a well thought out plan. So God was very strategic. Now, as I am going through this, I want you to be thinking about how you work. Everything must follow a particular order, isn't it? There must be a beginning and an end. Number 2, another characteristic of God kind of creation is interdependency. Interdependency. God's creation is intricately connected, interconnected. For instance, plants were created before animals, providing food and oxygen, which are essential to support animal life. That's Genesis 1, verse 11 to 30. Each element of creation supports and sustains the other, illustrating a harmonious ecosystem. So, first, there is order. You see order in how God is doing. Secondly, he creates interdependency. There is something building upon the other. And the third, which to me is now the killer blow for everything, is delegation. God delegates. God ensured. So what did he delegate? There's a lady who said that God is still answering prayers. God is work in the work of creating and answering prayers. What did God delegate? Yeah? Dominion, Higher. So, God ensured that his creation could thrive and reproduce. The command to be fruitful and multiply given to animals and humans shows that his creation was designed to endure and regenerate across generations and seasons. So God creates human being at the end and delegates the work of creation to them. So we essentially became co-creators with. Are we together? So what has God been doing since he entered the seventh day? It's still a question in the air, hovering. God governs his creation. He created once, and so should you. Once you create, you should start what? Governing. You see, if our mindset can change from the idea of work to be about paying bills to creation, it can change everything. You start transforming the organizations you work for. It will just be a ripple effect. God kind of work is creation. The real measure of whether we have created God kind of wealth is whether you've entered rest or not. So, if you are doing something, if whatever you do does not allow you to enter into rest, something is wrong. Something is wrong. If you cannot afford to just take one day off during the week, switch off everything, something is wrong with what you're doing. You probably left the work of creation a long time ago. But if you're creating, you will always, in your design of work, there will always be a self-sustaining component, meaning you'll be able to remove yourself. You'll be able to delegate. Now, this aspect of delegation is really amazing to me, because it means if all of us take on our co-creators role, then whatever we do, we are always delegating either to machines, technology, or people. Imagine how many job opportunities will be created. Because God created a job for us. And so should we continue to create job opportunities. So these attributes reflect a divine blueprint of creating businesses and wealth vehicles that usher us into the God kind of rest. So I want to challenge anyone who is here, and thank you for staying behind, because this, to me, is a real marker of wealth. Whatever you do, please put rest in that plan. How will you rest? Create once and spend the rest of your life governing. All those great businesses that we don't want to even start mentioning them, they have one thing in common. They are being governed. They are being run by managers. They are being run by managers, and the owners are just governing. So even in your small job, whatever thing that you have been trusted at work with, think like a creator. Think like a creator. Create systems around it. And those systems, make sure they lead to one result. Rest. Rest. The moment you create rest, you open up opportunities to do much more. The problem is that most of us are already too exhausted with what we do on a day-to-day basis because we never find rest. We have taken the curse of toiling, literally. But the blessing of God is really this kind of work. God created systems. Creation is about systems. You create systems that are self-sustaining. So, the creation of Nabo Capital was inspired by this deep desire to help people to experience God kind of rest, and as quickly as possible. The reason why I came here is to liberate all of you so that you enter into rest. If all of you enter into rest, I've achieved my mission today. And what we do at Nabo Capital is exactly that too. And everybody here, if you look at your job carefully, there is a rest that you provide. I had people doing IT stuff here. They create systems so that people can enter into rest. So, why is it so important for us at Nabo Capital to see people enter into rest? By being financially free, so that they can start pursuing their earthly assignments purposely and passionately. So our deepest joy comes from witnessing the peace and freedom that our customers experience when they achieve true independence and passionately pursue the divine purpose. That's what investment is all about. That's why I have the best job in the world. Warren Buffett said something very interesting. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will probably work until you die. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll probably work until you... What was he talking about? Rest. Isn't it? So the finish line of creating multi-generational wealth is when you reach a point where your mind enters into rest for the rest of your life. See, we have asked ourselves here, what is God doing today? He's governing. He's governing. And we are now co-creators. I have a solution for all of you. And you people have a solution for everybody else. Everybody here has a solution for someone. So that someone can enter into rest. Rest is not a state of idleness. Please, let's take that. Rest is not a what? a state of idleness. It is the peace of mind you enjoy when you start doing what you love to do every single day of the year. It is a state of mind. That's why Elon Musk is going to space when he wants. Richard Branson get traveling with air balloons when he wishes. Rest, but they are not just doing that recklessly. It's because they've created something and systems around it that is self-sustaining, that they've ended up into rest themselves. Warren Buffett says, I spend 80% of my time thinking and reading. Thinking and reading. 80% of his time. I'm not saying all of you should spend 80% of your time thinking and reading. That's him. But what is your kind of rest? Some people here, they just don't have time for family. They have no time for family. Their big businesses have enslaved them. So, at Nabo Capital, we say when our customers enter into rest, we too also enter into rest. How do we do it? This was a download, so I'm going to give you a very high level of how we do it. Now, we discovered that creating wealth is like building a house. There must be a starting point and a finishing. Again, remember, order. Isn't it? It does not matter whether someone lives in a slum. It does not matter whether they are multi-billionaire. But all of us are human beings and we require one thing: basic essentials. We must eat, we must clothe, we must have shelter. And this is the bare minimum that is required to protect human dignity. And I know many people, when they were coming here today, this is what they were thinking about. I know I've stretched it because I want you to live with a bonus, a big bonus. So we came up with the idea of that everybody should have a lifestyle portfolio. And that lifestyle portfolio is supposed to be able to pay for all your bills if everything else in your life was not working. If your business came to an end, if your job came to an abrupt end, how would you survive? How would you take your kids to the same school? How would you go to the same clubs? How would you live in the same neighborhood? How would you still have those 1 or 2 cars outside your parking? Or would those be your olden days? You see, these children you see here, I came with them here, they really don't care what I do. I cannot go and tell them that the government is overtaxing me. I cannot go and tell them that the economy is bad. All they say, you're my dad. And because you're my dad, I know there's going to be food on the table. So, how do we insulate our families from the turbulence of our operating environment? Because it is guaranteed, it is certain, it will happen. One day, business will go bad. One day, employment will come to an end. A lifestyle portfolio. Tell your neighbor you need a lifestyle portfolio. Please add, Pius is not selling. It is a fact. Everybody needs a lifestyle portfolio. It takes care of your family regardless of economic conditions.